If he's not one of he is the best player, and he's the best player every single year. Dave, what impressed you, I guess, going into these Western Conference Finals, if we could take a quick look back to the last round of how the Lakers handled the Warriors?
Well, first of all, like, they go in to Chase Center, they get game one, and they set the tone just the same way they did in the Memphis series. They get game one on the road to set the tone for the series. That's impressive. You don't lose a game at home. Also impressive, because as the team.
And the talk today, this is, these two teams faced each other 3 years ago. 2020 in the bubble was a vastly different world in the NBA. And it's weird. These two teams, there's some similarities. Obviously, we're still talking about LeBron James and Anthony Davis and their championship experience. And on the other side is Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. But, Jokic was talking today about how it's completely different. First of all,
that's it, right? Those are the only players.
Yeah, I think so. I think those are the only players. And
if you want to add a sixth player, it's Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, but he's on the different team now.
Yes, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope on the other side team. And by the way, I know he is looking forward to this matchup and showing the Lakers, that he still got it and he still can contribute to a championship team. But Dave, Jokic was saying this is a completely different team. Completely different teams, and he's right. Number one, I don't even think he recognizes this Laker team, Dave. It's weird that the Nuggets and
who have former MVP in Kevin Durant, who has Devin Booker, one of the most lethal scorers in today's game, who had a former coach of the year, who's no longer the coach, in Monty Williams. Why did you have such faith that the Nuggets were going to get that series done?
Dave, we entered the series. A lot of people were talking about the best player in that series was going to be Kevin Durant. And then Devin Booker took over and went absolutely bonkers, but quietly and steadily. And I think we saw it after the end of 6 games. Nikola Jokic was the best player on the floor. It didn't matter if you took away his passing ability and decided, which I think probably is the proper way to attack Nikola Jokic, is to dare him to score against you and bet against his unselfish nature, because it's hard for Nikola Jokic to come out and be aggressive right from the get-go. But when he is, and when he does, and he did that when he dropped 53 points on the Suns, he's unstoppable. You cannot stop his runner in the lane or his little post moves. He can hit the three. He can hit the shot over virtually almost any big man in front of him from the free throw line. And so, if you decide to...
And then, honestly, the moments there in front of them, the Warriors have their backs against the wall. They need to win in order to force a Game 7. Steph Curry in the same situation in the first round. They need to win in order to get to the second round. Steph scores 50. In Game 6 against Golden State Warriors, it was LeBron James who was the best player on the court. He was fantastic. He was efficient. He was playing with defensive energy, near triple-double, scored 30-plus points in a playoff game for the first time in 18 playoff games. You had to go all the way back to the bubble finals for the last time he did that. And to me, you see a guy who, because he's LeBron, we don't really think of him in human terms, but he missed those 4 weeks late in the season with the foot injury. This was the first fully formed LeBron I'd seen since he came back. And what if that is not a sign of, okay, he left it all out there against the Golden State Warriors, and he could fizzle out this series? What if it's a sign of, he's finally at that level? It took him all this time to get there, and watch out for the West Conference Finals. So those things are all significant.
The game with a triple-double. He had 3 triple-doubles in his last 4 games, Dave. He averaged a 34.5 triple-double against the Suns. There's only one other guy who's averaged more in a triple-double in a series than him, Russell Westbrook. So the historic numbers that he's putting up, I think I've watched a lot of Nikola Jokic, Dave. This is about as dominant, I think, as I've seen Nikola Jokic, which is saying a lot. I think he's confident. I think he feels good. I think he likes the team around him, especially if they come ready to play, aggressive, and they lock down on defense. Jamal Murray struggled at times in that last series. You wouldn't know it by his numbers. If you just looked at the numbers, he'd shoot like a high percentage and he scored like 32 points, but he would miss like 14 to 15 threes over like 2 to 3 games. And they were like wide open threes. So he was kind of struggling with the shot, but otherwise, man, Towns, who pretty much plays on the perimeter.
110-pound Wendy Gabriel, who has been a very good role player for them this year. Tristan Thompson, okay, size-wise. Tristan may surprise some of our viewers, only 32 years old. So it's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like he's like off a scrap heap.
Feels like he's been around for a while.
All right, with playoff finals championship experience. Then you got Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba hasn't played the entire playoffs with a high left ankle sprain. He wasn't in Denver on Monday. He's back in LA getting that ankle looked at again. He's scheduled to fly on Tuesday, commercial to Denver and rejoin the team, but doubtful to play in game one. We'll see if he plays at some point in the series. But Darvin said, when I asked him about it, he said, I'm well aware of the impact that Dwight had in that series in the bubble. And we do have the guys to play that role. So to me, if it's Bamba who's out, most likely out, and certainly for game one. And come on,
Jock Landale. Yeah, Jock Landale. Jock Landale did have some nice moments, but he's got to stop Anthony Davis inside. Anthony Davis and the Lakers have to take it to Nikola Jokic inside and take him inside, because Jokic defensively, that's his weakness, right at the rim. He's not a great rim protector. You've got to get him into foul trouble. It's going to be kind of like the first big man who's going to try to get each other into foul trouble could really dictate how this series goes. And then one thing about the 2020 bubble, Jokic won't go into it, but look, the fact of the matter is he had to face Anthony Davis, he had to face Dwight Howard, and he had to face JaVale McGee. Those two other bigs are not there anymore. So after Anthony Davis, if he gets into foul trouble, or God forbid he gets hurt or something like that, the Lakers could be somewhat thin inside.
So I asked Darvin Ham about that because Anthony Davis brought up Dwight after the Game 6 win against the Warriors. He said, LeBron and I were talking about that series not too long ago and marveling at the job that Dwight did with his physicality against Jokic. Well, B doesn't have the girth. It could be the Tristan Thompson time. We could go from Lonnie Walker the fourth being the surprise substitute in the second round to Tristan Thompson in the conference finals when Tristan Thompson was literally signed on the last day of the season.
Yeah, I got to say something, Dave. I was very impressed with the Lakers role players in the last round. I mean, in both rounds. I mean, Austin Reeves, from the I am him first round against Memphis, but having his little moments against the Warriors. But Lonnie Walker changing the series. I mean, Michael Malone even mentioned it in their series. He was like, we need a Lonnie Walker performance. We need somebody off the bench. And they ended up getting it from Bruce Brown. Those guys were not afraid of the moment. And I think that's kind of how they were able to take that series, really kind of help LeBron James and Anthony Davis. What do you think Darvin Ham is going to, obviously, I mean, the way to attack a superstar is you always try to give them different looks, try to surprise them. But really, these guys have seen every wrinkle of defense there is. What do you think Darvin Ham would do, though, with Jokic?
And it looks solid. If the Lakers can get some of that, I think it will help, too, because you are then perhaps tiring Joker out a little bit if he has to play some perimeter defense.
You know where Jokic killed the Suns too was, and he does this to everybody almost, and you don't notice it until you see the numbers later. He misses a lot of shots at the rim and he gets his own rebound and then he puts it back. Next thing you know, he has like a triple-double in the third quarter. Anthony Davis has to prevent that. He cannot let Jokic get offensive rebounds, especially those little, I just missed it, but I still got my hand on it, and then they tip.
LeBron, Austin Reeves, and D'Angelo Russell, you play them together. LeBron doesn't need to have the ball in his hands of the primary playmaker. If you can find ways to get LeBron the ball on the move, headed downhill, whether it's pick and roll, whether it's that dive play where you have the guard drive baseline, and then LeBron sees once he gets a shred of daylight, he just dives towards the basket. If you get LeBron on the move, headed towards the rim, what's Joker going to do? He's either got to give him an open dunk or a score or foul him. And I think getting Nikola Jokic into foul trouble will be paramount. And it's got to be creative ways to get LeBron going. And then obviously Anthony Davis is just going to have to be a beast. And offensively, he's been good this playoffs. Defensively, he's been great.
Yeah.
I think they're going to need both. They're going to need offensively great and defensively great. Because when you were just describing to me, Anthony Davis used to have that. And he is nearly as dominant as he's ever looked with
Patrick Beverley on the team. This is about LeBron James and not having the ball in his hands. Like, I noticed that a lot in the first and second round, especially the last round. And I kind of have conflicting feelings about this because, one, I'm so used to seeing LeBron with the ball in his hands and liking that he controls everything. But then I was like, this isn't bad. I mean, it kind of saves him. He plays off the ball. Jokic mentioned today, I think it was Jokic, or no, it was Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon mentioned he was asked the difference of guarding Kevin Durant, who Aaron Gordon did a very good job against in the last series, versus LeBron James. And he said, LeBron off the ball can really kill you. Like with his cuts, if you get him the ball, he can obviously be an alley-oop threat. All these different things, and just really maybe like I really noticed in that last round, especially Golden State, just how much LeBron doesn't bring the ball up. It's like Austin Reeves, or D'Angelo Russell. What do you think?
Too much can be dangerous. He started off the conference semifinals against Golden State in the first 4 games, going 1 for 8 from 3, 3 for 8, 2 for 4, 2 for 9. That's not nearly as efficient as he can be. So if he is settling for that shot and not probing and not cutting, and basically he is playing off the ball, and then he's getting the ball when it's heavy at the end of the shot clock and he has to be the one launching, that's not going to help you. You'd rather have him be the one with the ball in his hands, spraying out to an Austin Reeves or a D'Angelo or even Rui Hachimura, the way he's looked these playoffs, for a more reliable 3-point shot. So there is a double-edged sword there. But again, where he can be quite dangerous is you can start him at different spots on the floor. And if he has a requisite energy and you get him the ball on the move, he can be a secondary playmaker. The way Draymond for the Lakers, if he can, use that thrust in order to compromise the defense that way. And then obviously, if you get into the Nuggets bench, like, they are good. We're not trying to cast aspersions at Christian Braun and Bruce Brown,
Uncle Jeff
and the like, and our guy Uncle Jeff.
Yeah,
but the Nuggets, in my opinion, have the best starting 5 in the entire NBA, top to bottom, 1 through 5, from 2-time MVP to a guy who can give you 40 any night in Murray, to KCP, the perfect 3-and-D role player, to Michael Porter Jr., one of the in the top 5% of athletic specimens in this league who can shoot it from the outside, to Aaron Gordon, again, super athletic, really big, and can run up and down and play the vertical game and a horizontal game. That starting 5 is impeccable.